Today, we're going to talk about the difference between the silent treatment and no contact. I have touched on this before in a few of my other videos, but I'm not sure I've ever made an entire video dedicated to the difference between these two things. And I think it's about time we really talk about that because I know it's very confusing on how they're different when they look the exact same. I posted a meme this morning on Instagram and the comments were one after another. Isn't no contact the same as the silent treatment? Aren't we just as bad as the narcissist when we go no contact? So we really need to talk about that if there's confusion, because they are absolutely, not only are they not the same thing, but they're the exact opposite of each other, in fact. And because they look very similar, I totally understand why it's a difficult concept to grasp. So let's break it down in today's video. My name is Amy and this is Narcaway. My channel is devoted to educating, supporting, and encouraging victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. And if you are a subscriber already here, welcome back. It's great to have you here. Now, you can see I'm in a little bit of a different set today than usual. I'm actually coming to you from my house and my backyard. It's a beautiful, rainy, humid summer day, so hence my hair is tied up and kept under control. So with that said, let's get on with the video. The narcissist uses the silent treatment as a method to control you. They are not actually trying to get away from you or to create space or to create distance or to take time to reflect. What they're doing is they're manipulating you. Most people that are with narcissists have some level of codependency. Narcissists and codependence go hand in hand. Codependents often have abandonment issues. Nobody likes to be ignored. Nobody likes to be silenced. Nobody likes to be unheard. And that can actually trigger previous traumas and PTSD if you already have it from either a previous relationship or your existing relationship. And it makes you feel bad one way or another. Now, people that are with a narcissist are going to feel the silent treatment tenfold as to anyone else in a relatively normal relationship where you might walk off, you might pout, and you might give the silent treatment, for a few minutes, maybe even a few hours. This is not what we're talking about here. When we talk about the silent treatment given by a narcissist, this is a whole new level of manipulation. Because not only will they give you that silent treatment for a few hours, it can turn into a few days, it can turn into weeks, and it can actually turn into months where they will flat out ignore you. You are dead to them, or it appears that way anyway. They will silence your phone calls, they will ignore your text messages, they will avoid you at all costs. If you're in a group setting or if you have to be with them, you will physically see them walk away. If you approach them, they will literally walk away from you and begin a conversation with somebody else. And this is really embarrassing. It's humiliating because you know that if there's other people around that they're seeing this and they're seeing you being treated this way and you feel very shameful. It's also very hurtful because you're probably trying to just make contact with somebody who you love and who you hope loves you, and they want nothing to do with you. It's a manipulation in order to control you, because what inevitably happens is you will try harder to get attention from that person giving you the silent treatment. If you don't know what's going on, if you don't know that this is a manipulation tactic and that you are being played, you are actually going to swim upstream to try to end it. You are going to do everything in your power to get this person to talk to you. And what you're doing without realizing it is giving them supply. You are feeding right into their game. When they see you struggling, when they hear you crying, when they see you chasing them, they are smirking in their head, and it might be all over their face. You might see it on their face. You probably will, because they are so happy that their tactics are working. They can't hide that, because this is one of the things that truly does make a narcissist happy. We talk about how they are unhappy people. It's hard to make them happy. This is where they get joy from watching their loved one struggle, to watching them hurt and attempt to ease their own pain. So the narcissist silent treatment is not done for any reason other than to manipulate you, to garner supply from you, to control you, and to ultimately get supply from you. That is the ultimate goal, to get something from you. And if you do clue into their tactics and you do decide that you're not going to play into this game anymore, and you stop chasing them on a silent treatment, it won't be very long before they come back to you, because the ultimate goal is not to break up with you or leave you. It's only to threaten you with that, to scare you with that, so you change your behavior to give them what they want. Now, no contact, on the other hand, is very different. A narcissist very rarely goes no contact. When they discard you, there can be a period of no contact, but it's not going to be no contact the way we use it, because they're still going to be watching you. They're still going to be listening for you. They're still going to be maybe social media stalking you. They're going to be checking up on you. And eventually they will make contact with you again, which is called a hoover. When we use no contact, the point of that, opposite of what the narcissist is using the silent treatment for, is not to garner attention from somebody else, but it's to create peace for yourself. No contact has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do only with you and your headspace and your mind frame and sense of peace going forward. What no contact is shutting off the narcissist and the abuse that comes with a narcissist once and for all. It is closing the doors so an abuser cannot abuse you anymore. This is not a manipulation, and it all comes down to intent. The easiest way I can illustrate this for you, the difference between the silent treatment and no contact, is in the intent. The narcissist gives you the silent treatment with the intent to garner supply from you. They want that attention from you. They want to see you scrambling. They want to see you hurt. They want you chasing them. No contact is done by a victim of narcissistic abuse with the intent to shut out the abuse once and for all. It is not to have the narcissist chase you or to come back to you, or to realize what they've lost, or to push them into changing their ways. If you're going no contact with that intent, what you're actually doing is the silent treatment. You're manipulating them in the hopes that they change to come back to you. That's not no contact. No contact is blocking their phone number, blocking their social media, cutting off friendships if necessary with mutual friends, and it is centering yourself into a healthy headspace to prepare to move on from that life once and for all. You cannot heal from abuse while you are still in the abuse. The longer you are not engaging with somebody who is abusive, the easier it actually becomes to stop caring, to want to engage with them. In the beginning, it's very hard. It's very difficult because you're still caught up in that drama and you're still feeling the need to explain yourself and defend yourself. You might still have hope that they can change. You might not be fully ready to leave the relationship. But once you know and accept that that relationship needs to end for your own peace of mind and your own health, that's when you need to go no contact. And that is not the silent treatment. That is not manipulation. That is you taking your control back. That is you taking control of the situation and honoring your integrity. You are choosing to only allow what is good for you in your life at that point. And there is no way, in any way, anything wrong with that. So don't let other people tell you otherwise. You need to really understand this, because people will butt in and say, oh, well, aren't you just doing what they did to you? Or aren't you just as bad as them? Or I don't see the difference. They ignored you, now you're ignoring them. Now, first and foremost, you don't owe anybody an explanation. You do not owe anybody an explanation. And sometimes trying to explain that can re-traumatize and re-trigger you. So I actually recommend you don't try to explain it to anyone else. The only person you need to explain it to is yourself. You need to understand why you're doing it, because when you have the right frame of mind and you're doing things in a process for the right reasons, it makes it easier. If you don't know why you're doing something, you're not going to be successful. If you're going no contact because you've heard it over and over and over again in these videos, but you don't really understand the concept behind no contact, you're not going to be successful at it. You must understand why you're doing it, why it is so important, and where it's going to get you once you really embrace that. Going no contact is going to expedite your healing and recovery from the abuse, because that is eliminating the abuse from your life. Now, I understand if you have children together, if you are married, if you own property, if you're going through a divorce, sometimes it's impossible to go true no contact. But what you have to do is get to as close to that as possible. And there's something that we call the gray rock method, which is very effective when you can't go full no contact. And it's the same principle where you're not engaging with the narcissist. You're not allowing them to abuse you. And I do have videos about the gray rock method. I'll actually link right here. So you can watch me explain in detail about how you can use that method and when to use that method. But if you can, if you have either grown children or no children, or it's a friendship scenario or even a parental situation, you can often make that choice, as hard as it is, to go no contact. And when you do, the peace that you will find will overwhelm you. And I know that from experience. I went no contact when I decided to leave my ex, who I was with for 10 years. Mind you, we didn't have children together. We weren't married. We didn't live together. So I was in a very fortunate situation that I could go true no contact. That didn't make it any easier as far as my emotions go. I still was in love with him. I still had 10 years with him. He was my partner, he was my lover, he was my confidant. He was everything to me for a decade of my life, but he was also abusive. And when I realized that this relationship was not going to get any better, he was not going to change his ways, I made the decision that I had to leave for my own sanity. I couldn't do it anymore. I was unhappy. I was really, really disrespectful, and my own self-worth was really low. So when I learned about narcissism, and when I learned about emotional abuse, and when I learned about no contact, and I started using these practices in my own healing journey, it just relieved so much off my shoulders and off my plate as far as stress and just healing and getting over him. Not seeing him, not talking to him, knowing that I could not just message him, eliminating him from my life was the best decision I ever made. And it made my healing process much, much, much faster than it would have been if I was still messaging him or hoping he would change. Once I accepted that it was over and I went no contact, things got better. And they've only continued to get better. We're still no contact to this day. I have no need to have any information about him, or, it's gone. It's history. It's ancient history in my life. And I am so much better off for it. And I know you are too, once you get to it. So the biggest thing that you need to understand is that going no contact saves you. It is for you. It is a door between you and your abuser. The silent treatment is something an abuser uses to manipulate you. There is no door there. What it is, that's a fishing rod. And they're just throwing the bait at you and reeling you in, throwing it out, reeling it in. No contact is a door. That door is shut to be never reopened again. So, with all that being said, guys, I hope this video gives you the insight that you need to understand the difference between the silent treatment and no contact, and understand how important going no contact is. Please leave comments below if you liked this video, or if you have your own stories about the silent treatment and no contact. I would love to read your comments below. If you don't already subscribe to Narcaway, please go ahead and subscribe now. And don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram at Narcaway for daily posts. And just in case you didn't know, I also do one-on-one talks with you guys. So if you're interested in talking to me and having a one-on-one, just send me an email. You can email me at narcaway@hotmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, or you can message me here in the comment section, and I will get back to you, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys all in the next video. I love you all.